Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to RuckU News. No clapping, no fondling this week. Very correct. Done some research on Zinzan Brook. Zinzan Valentine Brook was born Murray Zinzan Brook in 1965, and he changed his name by default. Begs the question, doesn't it? Anyway, he played 58 tests for New Zealand, 42 non-international matches, blah blah blah. Influential for the Blues, blah blah. He's arguably the best number 8 to have ever played for the All Blacks, wrote Zinzan Brook. Here we go. In 1997, he retired from International Rugby Union and moved to England to play for Harlequins and later coach them, but he was not very successful. Oh, that's a shame. It was widely reported that he signed a contract to play rugby league for Graham Lowe's Manly club in the early 1990s, but subsequently changed his mind and stayed with Rugby Union. In 1995, his biography, Zinny, the Zinzan Brook story, because you have to put that in New Zealand, isn't it? Because you couldn't just put Zinny, because people wouldn't realise, they wouldn't connect Zinny and Zinzan Brook. So he puts the whole title in there, which I think is good. The other bit that I liked was, a bit of information he played Gaelic football, but here on his page are the 5 tips to get a flat stomach. I've been reading them. Not successful. Other bit of it I did on him was, I put it in, Zinzan, and common nicknames. It was a boy's name, it said, which surprised me. Common nicknames, none on record. We currently have no nicknames, but we are constantly updating our records. So I sent in Mongrel, which I thought might help them after the other week. But then there was a warning came up, unintended nicknames. Make sure a combination of first and last names do not produce an unintended nickname. Zinzan Valentine Brook, like Knob, or something like that. Anyway, Zinny, there you go. Mongrel. Hopefully that will, I'll check to make sure that they put that up as a nickname. Anyway, some serious news. Carter, playing number 12. Graham Henry says he'd like 2 navigators on the pitch. Are they lost? 2 navigators, that's great, isn't it? It's not much good if you haven't got a vehicle or an engine. Carter Smith, centre field combination. Who's your ball carrier? Who's taking it over the game line? Who's going to deal with the big Aussies? He's talented, flair, variety, all that, vision, absolutely. Not sure if there's enough bulk. Anyway, the Sharks won the Currie Cup. Well done to the Sharks. And also, I think, a huge congratulations to Peter Rugby for a great photo on the side. I like that one. PDV, I see, has chosen to tour without a recognised 10 in November. Nothing like a challenge. It was going to be a hard tour anyway, but now he's really thrown the cat amongst the pigeons. No 10. I know a lot of you have been taking the mickey out of Butch, but he's up here, and I would have thought, but maybe a bit too much logic here. He's up here, he's got a bit of inside knowledge, he knows quite a few of the England boys now, quite a few of the Welsh. Might have been quite useful to involve him in the tour, but hey, let's make life difficult for ourselves. Eddie Jones this week is quoted as saying he's unhappy with Dylan Hartley after their game. That's a shame, Eddie. I'd like to see you unhappy. He's incensed apparently by his physicality. And I know this is going to be a shock for a lot of Australians, but rugby union is a contact sport. It's meant to be a physical game. Borthwick has been named captain of England. Quite a bit of debate about that. I think, to be fair to Jono, good decision. It's an inexperienced side, it's a side in transition, a lot of flux. Throwing a young kid now is going to cause problems, I think, for him. If there was a lot of leaders around, experienced leaders, by all means, but not now. I think Borthwick was one of the few experienced guys in there, and I think they need some of the young guys to actually step up and show some leadership in November. And I think John will watch him very closely in the heat of Test rugby. He wasn't in New Zealand, of course, so he'll now be able to watch them firsthand, see how they react, see how they cope with it, with the pressure, and there's going to be a fair amount of pressure on him in November. And then maybe he'll change it for the Six Nations, maybe not. But Borthwick, I think, yes, conservative choice, but I think the right choice. He follows on some legendary some locks or number 4s, number 5s, I don't know what the difference is. John himself, Wade Dooley. Wade Dooley. I remember Wade Dooley. It was great, actually, talking about youngsters. Wade, he had a way about him. We were touring Argentina in 1990, and there were about 12, 15, 21-year-olds we took. It's almost a bit of a mixed development tour. And I'd said to the 21-year-olds I wanted them to, have a lot of input into training sessions, meetings, all that sort of stuff. because their input, you know, and their viewpoint was valid. I've read it in a book, I think, management book, that made it sound good. And I'm thinking that most of them would be intelligent enough to know time and place, people to do it to. Matt Poole, the young 21-year-old on the tour, he got it slightly wrong. Line-out session with Wade Dooley, and he pinched about 3 of his balls. Line-out balls. Because Wade was big, but he didn't have 3 balls. Anyway, Matt decides this is the time, because he's obviously thinking, I'm better than Wade. He didn't put it down to the fact that Wade had probably been out until 6 o'clock in the morning with the young Jason livid. No, he put it down to the fact that he was actually better than him. So he suddenly took it on himself to say, Wade, I think you've got your setup wrong. I think this is why I'm pinching the balls off you, you know, because your setup's wrong. I think you're getting a bit square on and your inside arm's not... He started in technical stuff. I don't know why I was watching the line session anyway, but I didn't understand the technical stuff. I was listening to it. But taking more interest in the fact that Brian Moore and Winterbottom and Probin and the likes were pissing themselves laughing. So it was all in the setup. And he said that's why, you know, it's been rather easy to pinch the balls. I think that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. And especially when Moore was going, come on then Wade, it's all in the setup. Alright Wade, get the setup right. And Winters sort of going, no Wade, fair point, the setup's all wrong, so. Well anyway, next line out, Moore goes to throw. Stupidly, I was watching Moore throw, and I missed the punch. I heard it, but I missed it. I just turned to see Matt Poole collapsing on the ground. I'd heard the thud and everything else. But I did witness Wade standing over him, as usual, saying, how was me fucking set up for the punch then, Satchel? She called all the youngsters on that tour. He had a good tour, Wade. It was brilliant, because it was Terry Crystal as the doctor. It was his first tour as well. I don't know if any of you, Terry Crystal, great afternoon speaker, I don't know if you've heard him. He's brilliant. Anyway, obviously wanted to make an impression on this tour. He bought a banjo. And on the coach after the games, he would get on his banjo and sing. And first I say that, you know, first game he got up and started singing Delilah, a few songs. Well, I was sitting mid-coach, because I was like that, you know, all the forwards at the back, most of the backs all around, and I thought the middle was about where I should be. And it was pretty quiet. Terry was singing his songs, the forwards weren't joining in, they were obviously just watching him. And the backs, we didn't dare join in because the forwards were. And Terry was singing away, and suddenly this shadow passed me, and Wade walking down the bus. He picked up the banjo and smashed it on Terry's head. With a great line of, shut the fuck up. Yeah, he was good. So, Borthwick, can he follow the likes of Wade? Just the last little sort of few. I went to the American football on Sunday. Great spectacle, took the youngsters, Jack and Henry, and maybe a few of you remember from weeks ago, Jack's great line to me that I didn't play for England when Henry asked me because I was his dad and I was too fat. Well, they had a bit of a rerun at Wembley. It was great. Because we were in the stadium, great stadium, and Henry was sort of saying, you know, did they ever play rugby here? And I said, well, they played rugby at Wembley. They have done. And he said, did you ever play at Wembley? I said, I did, a long time ago. And it was the old stadium. And Jack, who had just been watching me, said, yeah, that would have been a long time ago when you were thin. See you next week.